And listening to that, Huw Irranca-Davies, the Labour member of the Senedd for Ogmore, who's with us here in the studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I could see, was watching you nodding along at various points, and every time the word shock was mentioned, you nodded. You're as shocked as anybody.
Yeah, I am, but actually this morning I'd moved beyond that. Yesterday everybody was shocked. It's rightly been reported. There was no heads up about this. There was no sign of this. People like Sarah Murphy, the Bridgend MS, and I have been in this plant regularly. We have met with the managing directors of this firm. We have worked with them whenever they have requested access to Welsh Government to talk about supply chains and so on. We've done it. We've never had any indication, let me be crystal clear, never any indication that something was going wrong. So I've gone beyond the shock that everybody feels within the local area. I'm actually quite angry now that there was no reaching out to say, how can we help? How can we assist? We've got a problem. So let me park my anger to one side for a moment and say this. They're meeting with the unions today, with Unite the Unions, and you heard from Jason there. When I put my head down on my pillow last night, and I'd been through redundancy myself before, I knew that there were 540 people and their families that were worrying about what their future was. I think it is incumbent upon this company that has had the loyalty over decades of a skilled, committed workforce to now work with them to avoid these job losses, to talk with the unions about alternatives, to reach out to Welsh Government, who will be willing to engage with that company and talk about how we keep these jobs. This should not be a done deal. And now I'm willing, Sarah Murphy is willing, all other local elected representatives are willing to work with this company to talk about alternatives and to open those doors with the Welsh Government. Chris Elmore, the local MP, and I and Sarah Murphy have written yesterday to the UK Government to say, if you're serious about levelling up, you need to step in and help us here and keep these jobs here. Bridgend has had a proud tradition of manufacturing, a big base of manufacturing along that M4 belt. We've been hit by the devastating news of Ford within recent years. Now this company, out of the blue sky, says they are going and taking these jobs in manufacturing. It's not good enough. We deserve better, and I would say to the company, if you're serious about consulting on what is called a proposal, then get into the seats around the table with Vaughan Gethin, involve us in it, and we will work with you to keep these jobs here. Make this a serious consultation, not just on job losses, but on how we can keep those jobs there. So yes, I am, as you can tell from my voice, I am angry now. I've moved beyond shock, but I want to focus that on saying to the company, a direct appeal to the company, be serious, sit down and work with us and save these jobs in Bridgend.
Are you not also a little bit baffled?
Yes.
Like many people are. And are you satisfied that what was supposed to be going on within Vaughan Gethin's department and the company was going on? I mean, the Minister says that there was a named person in the department responsible for contact with the company. What was that relationship like?
Well, we know that it's been very good because this company have received Welsh Government funding before and they've received support. I've got other companies within 2 or 3 miles radius of this who receive regular contact and engagement from Welsh Government. So the question is here, I don't think it is for Welsh Government because I've been in touch with the Minister on this. This is out of the blue sky for him and his officials as well. So the question here is for the companies, why did they not reach out and say we have difficulties? This has literally come out of the blue sky. The unions weren't aware, the workforce weren't aware, we were not aware. And as I say, this is not as if this is a company that we have not had engagement with. We have regular contact with them. So why was nobody told that there was some problem here? We are still waiting. The workforce is waiting. Families are waiting. The union is waiting to be told what exactly is the problem. They've talked about maybe there's something to do with energy costs. Maybe there's something to do with supply chain costs. In which case, be frank with us. Sit down around the table, start engaging with Welsh Government as well and UK Government and say how we can overcome them, as opposed to what sounded yesterday, I have to say, like a fait accompli. Here's the proposal, the jobs are going. No, let's turn this around. What we deserve in this locality and what this workforce deserve as well, I'm not going to do wringing hands, but they deserve, after the loyalty of decades, that this company actually says, how can we make it work? Because they've got willing partners sitting on this side of the table to say, we'll help you. Now, what we expect, what we deserve is they should open the doors to have those discussions.
So if it is about money, and whether that be short-term in terms of energy costs, as you mentioned, maybe long-term in terms of the whole plant needing a refit, which was another theory. That money, I know you can't promise money, you can't write cheques this morning, but
No.
but there would be something the Welsh Government could do on this. Would there?
Absolutely, and I think there's absolutely, and I can't promise it because I'm not a minister, but I'll tell you what, Sarah Murphy, myself, Chris Elmore and other local representatives will, as we already have, be speaking directly to Welsh Government to saying this may have come out of the blue, but let's now talk about how we make this work and is there funding available? And the same, as I just said, we wrote yesterday to the UK Minister as well, with Trade and Industry or the relevant department, to say, how can you help as well? Because this is about, if we're genuine about UK PLC, then this needs to be support from Welsh Government and UK Government. And, do you know, one other thing, the unions here over many years have worked with this management. There's been a good working arrangement. They've adapted their practices. They've made this a more efficient plant. When Sarah Murphy and I have walked around this plant in recent months, we've been told how excellent the manufacturing base is there, how good the staff is, and not any warning signals whatsoever. Well, if they are true to the word, if what they were telling us only months ago is true, then for goodness sake, sit down with us. Me and Sarah and others will knock the doors of Welsh Government and say, if there's money in the chequebook, this is the time to use it. But we have to have willing partners. This company has to be genuinely willing to work with us to create a future for these jobs. And so that's why I'm not giving up today. I'm going to be optimistic and say, if this is a genuine proposal on the table, then we can look at alternative proposals instead. And we deserve this from this company.
Thank you very much. It's Huw Irranca-Davies, the Labour member of the Senedd for Ogmore. You'll keep us updated, I'm sure. We'll keep everybody updated on what happens there on that throughout the day, the days, the weeks to come.